My data just ran out.
Here, you can use my phone.
Thank you. Come on, man. My data finished again.
Relax, honey. You can always use mine.
Wait, how come you always have so much data?
I told you I switched to Telem mobile postpaid plans. Those plans come with plenty of data, so I will never run out of data again.
Okay, well, why don't you come over here and show me more about these plans? Because I'm about to switch to Telem data now.
Recording session, what's up? Hope you're doing okay on this nice blackout Friday. Of course, Dick Court is where we discuss everything court. Yes, let's have a good time. On the backs of those who got condemned, or didn't get condemned, or is about to be condemned, or might be innocent. You just never know on Dick Court. Let's begin. 24-month prison sentence for abducting ex-girlfriend. Remember the story a couple of months ago, whereby you had a boyfriend that was ex-boyfriend that was jealous about a girl, and he went and kidnapped her at Port Plaisance, and then wanted to kill her. Yeah, remember that story? Well, it was handled in court on the 6th of June, I believe. And this is the story. Let's go. The court of first instance has sentenced a man with 2 years in prison for snatching his ex-girlfriend out of a casino parking lot and forcing her into a vehicle against her will on the night of February the 3rd. Victor Ramirez, 34 years old, did not attend his trial on Wednesday, having been deported to the Dominican Republic shortly after his release from custody on February the 14th. He was not even represented by a lawyer. I never could understand that. So somebody who's illegal that does such a heinous crime is then held in pretrial detention, and then after that, when they come out, immigration would have to like hold him and then deport him, and then he gets sentenced in absentia. I don't understand. Do you understand? Do you? I don't know. Do you? Because for the life of me, when something so serious happens, the man almost killed somebody. The man kidnapped somebody. Like, we would have never be able to see this girl again if it wasn't for so many other factors. And the punishment is, well, you get deported. And then, of course, you get banned because, you go here illegally. So let's just forget the crime, the actual crime for what you are being accused of. Anyway, present in court was the suspected accomplice, IMW, 25 years old, who also faced kidnapping charges for driving the getaway vehicle after Ramirez pushed the victim into the backseat and held her down. W, like Ramirez, did not have legal counsel during Wednesday's trial. According to the victim's statement, which the judge read in court, she kicked and screamed as Ramirez covered her mouth, and W drove the white Hyundai Accent out of the parking lot of Port Plaisance Resort and Casino. Several witnesses reported the abduction to police, but patrols failed to locate the vehicle as it traveled from Colby to a house in Betty Estate, where the victim claimed Ramirez and his new girlfriend assaulted her. Surveillance camera footage from Bel Air Beach Hotel captured the Hyundai entering the rocky, dirty path leading to the dark section of Little Bay Beach around 11:30 p.m., or roughly 30 minutes after the kidnapping was reported. Wait a minute. Hold on there. I don't know if you catch on, so I will read it again. Surveillance camera from Bel Air Beach Hotel captured the Hyundai entering the rocky, dirty path leading to the darkened section of Little Bay Beach around 11:30 p.m., or roughly 30 minutes after the kidnapping was reported. They got cameras? That's what I heard. Because, you know, that's the spot. That's one of the spots to look at the sea at night. Yeah, let's go with that. They got cameras? But it's so dark. I know most of you holding on your hand right now. It's like, what? I thought the hotel is be all the way to the back. And then you just like, you know, drive by the entrance and then whoop, go to the beachside quick. You know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And all this time they got cameras there so they know what car's going there. This is violation of our constitutional rights to privacy. Bel Air, take that down now. You're not supposed to be catching me on a dirty flex. A fine for Bel Air. A fine. What is this? Capture. Anyway, the vehicle remained there for about 15 minutes. The victim told police that she had been strangled and feared the perpetrators had taken her to the secluded location to kill her. However, they had left when other people had turned up, the victim said, and then they drove to a nearby Seabreeze hotel to wash the blood of the victim's shirt before tossing her out of the car on Union Road. The Martin, like, I don't understand something, and maybe you can tell me, just in case I slow. How is it possible that you go to the beach and you want to kill her? You go to a spot where people just go normally at all hours of the day to watch the sea and watch, you know, the sky. You go to a nearby hotel with the victim. And then you jump back in the car with the victim, drive to Union Road, Colby, throw her outside on the road, and expect not to get caught? Somebody wasn't watching true crimes when they grew up. Nobody watched Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, nobody. Or you even watch detective shows like Dexter and all those good stuff, like nobody. Or you just say, okay, let's just wash her blood off in this hotel where they could test it. Drive with the vehicle, don't switch cars. Oh my God, I sounding very, very serial killer. I know. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. But it's just amateur stuff. Ramirez and W was released after spending 10 days behind bars, which, according to the prosecutor, was only allowed because the limited space of the Sid Martin overcrowded detention system. Ramirez, who admitted during the police interrogation to abducting the victim and stealing her phone, was found guilty of kidnapping and robbery. The judge sentenced him according to the prosecutor's demand. Describing Ramirez as an initiator of the crime, the prosecutor had called for a 24-month prison sentence because Ramirez had been deported prior to his lower court trial. He will only serve time at the Point Blank prison if he ever returns to St. Martin in the future. So in other words, Ramirez, if you come back to St. Martin, they will arrest you, and then you would have to spend 24 months in prison. Basically, the prosecutor telling you don't come back. Because I don't know how we just telling fugitive these days, if you come back, we're going to give you 20 years. I just saying. So if you come back, you get 20 years. If you don't come back, then you don't get nothing because you're not here. Therefore, you're not our problem. Justice, boy. This is justice. The troubled relationship. Okay, this is where we get the tea. W testified that Ramirez and the victim had been in a troubled relationship for 2 years, and that Ramirez had lived with him for some time after being kicked out by the victim. Ramirez claimed during the police interrogation that the victim had been harassing him. W told the same story to the court, claiming the victim had been calling him constantly in an effort to speak with Ramirez. Waking up to the kidnapping, W told the court that he was supposed to ring in his birthday at midnight with a friend in a popular Simpson Bay nightclub. W said Ramirez was giving him a ride and claimed that he had fallen asleep in the passenger seat on the way. He said he had woken up in shock to the sound of the door opening and saw Ramirez pushing the still fighting victim into the car. Isn't that funny? But he basically sell out the old friend. Oh, I wouldn't do the same if I face a jail time. Yes. So this is what he did. He did it. I was unconscious. I was sleeping the whole time, bro. I was sleeping, bro. I was sleeping. I didn't know what was happening. I was sleeping. I sorry. I sleep in no friend car. So he said that he was woken up in shock to the sound of the door opening and saw Ramirez pushing and still fighting the victim into the car. Then he heard someone else knocking on the car window, at which point he told the court he jumped into the driver's seat and quickly left the area. When the judge asked whether Ramirez had instructed him where to go after leaving the parking lot, W gave a long pause and nodded. Later during the trial, the prosecutor asked W whether he was afraid of Ramirez. Then he says, I ain't afraid of him, but I'd stay far when he drinking. But he's not afraid. He just stay far when, he get drunk. Although admitting that W might not have intended to kidnap the victim, the prosecutor argued that he must have known she was being held against her will when she entered the car kicking and screaming. Yeah, because if a woman comes inside of a car that you're in and says, no, 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 yeah, most probably they, being kidnapped, like a whole kidnap. Mm-hmm. From that moment on, the defendant became an accomplice. Yes, because a normal black man would have jumped out of that car. I would have jumped out. I would have been like, no, this is not it, bro. This is not it. You could take the car. You could keep it for all I care. Nope. And I stay in right Port Plaisance. Yeah, police. My good friend who's drunk is driving and kidnap a girl. I'll be just standing outside. I'm not driving him. No, it's a trap. It's a trap. From that moment, the defendant became an accomplice, the prosecutor said, calling the prison sentence of 12 months, of which 6 months would be conditional and 160 hours of community service. The prosecutor told the court that he added community service to his demand because W probably would only be called to serve his sentence in several years due to the ongoing cell shortage at the country's only adult prison. The defendant needs to feel something now, the prosecutor said. W told the court that he did not find that the prosecutor's demand fair because it had been Ramirez's relationship problems that got him into the hands of the law, which you stayed in the car instead of leaving the car. But anyway, so defense, he didn't have no lawyer, so he defended himself. So kudos to him. That's a boss move, I must say. Now, the judge fully acquitted W in his verdict, finding insufficient evidence to convict him of either being an accomplice or an accessory to kidnapping. What is it, man? That is happening now. Yo, hey, I love our system. Our Dutch system is the best. I mean, listen, he was in the car. He admitted to being in the car. He said he was there. He said he saw it. He drove the two around, went wash blood, do all kind of thing, went back, dropped them off, get caught together with the suspect, and he get acquitted because it's insufficient evidence. The surveillance camera gets him. Whoa! I want him as my lawyer. But I go to law school. You are better than any of those lawyers out there. It's a good thing you didn't take a lawyer because look, you got yourself off. That man is a king. You know, he's a legend. The man. Okay. So anyway, as W had woken up suddenly to an abduction in progress, the judge ruled that he might not have the time to consciously realize what was taking place. So wait, hold on. Ah, no, get off me! No, he's taking me. He gonna kill me. Yo, what going on? Jump in the car seat, drive off. Okay, so what we doing? he's not fully conscious. He was in a daze. He thought this was GTA. The judge also ruled that W might not have been aware of any wrongdoing during the rest of the drive because the victim was not fighting and screaming all the time. Yes, of course, because he was just screaming. She was just screaming at the beginning when she was kidnapped. But she wasn't screaming for the rest of the time. So obviously, he just thought it was a toxic relationship. That's what a judge. Oh, despite Wednesday's acquittal, Dobbs' legal troubles may not be over, as the prosecutor office has the right to appeal, which would send the case to be tried at the Joint Court of Justice. Nah, man, listen, leave the boy alone. Leave the boy alone. I mean, at the end of the day, he represented himself. He beat you, prosecutor, and therefore, just take the L. It's okay. At least you got one conviction for something that was red-handed that they admitted to. Whoa! The court is in session when we come back. We got some more cases for you. Stay right there.
At GEBE, we take the safety and quality of your water seriously. Every day, our dedicated sample collectors venture into the field, visiting the places that matter to you: water tanks, school, supermarkets, home, and high-risk areas. Once these samples return to our water quality lab at KB, they embark on a journey that safeguards your well-being. Our dedicated analysts take over, sending these samples to the microbiology and chemistry departments, respectively. This is where the magic happens. We test for a range of parameters, and we do this every single day, no matter what, including holidays and weekends. In our microbiology department, we focus on two major tests targeting various bacteria. Confirmation tests are conducted, and we have plans in place in case the results are confirmed. And then we do it all over again, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rain or shine, your water safety never takes a day off. So when you turn on the tap and enjoy a glass of GEBE's water, you can do so with confidence. GEBE, the power to serve.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait a bit. Tell me how to wait more. Tell me all that I should know.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. N-A-G-I-C-O. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Najiko too.
Nagico is insurance. Insurance is Nagico.
Welcome back to the court. Of course, it is time for your flashback. Yes, today we got a good one for you. Let's go.
Flashback.
Welcome to another Sunday. It's, of course, the great debate right here on the late night platform. Of course, as usual, we invite political parties to come and discuss current topics based on, what they believe in, so that you can get to see the different sides from the different political parties who will be contesting the upcoming elections. Of course, this is the great debate, and today we are joined by two parties. We did invite several other parties to come, and as usual, I'll do my disclaimer and say that we invited the Democratic Party. They have not shown up for the past 3 shows. Also, the Now, we invited them to come also today. Looked like last week they were able to come, but not this week. The National Alliance, also a no-show since the beginning of these programs. But we will continue to bring those who are willing to come and discuss St. Martin issues, because, again, at the end of the day, it's about informing the people and also getting to know your candidates for the upcoming elections. Today, I am joined by the URSM Party and also the United People's Party. Representing the United People's Party is the president of the board of the UP, Mr. Francisco La Cruz. How are you doing, sir?
A blessed evening to one and all. Andrew, thank you for inviting us both to this debate this evening. I'm looking forward to letting you know what's up.
Of course. And from the URSM, new kid on the block, but not really, because his father has been involved in politics for most of his life. And that is, of course, Rolex Jr.
How are you, sir? How are you doing today?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me once again on your program. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Appreciate
All right. Guys, of course, different political parties are contesting the upcoming elections. We have an idea, a scope of the number of parties that will be taking part, but you never know until actually postulation day. And that's where you get to see who is who and where the chips may fall, it's like I like to say. Giving the parties somewhat of a platform to showcase their different styles, also the different ideas. It's always good to have more of a roundtable discussion so that you can see the difference, or maybe they're alike, you never know. So I just wanted to give the parties, the topic for this week is new faces. And we have 2 new faces here. And I just want to give you guys a chance to, introduce yourself properly so that people know who you are and which party, why you decided to join the party that you're on. Let me start with Mr. Rolex.
Well, good evening to your viewers, Andrew, and to you too. My name is Julian Rolex Jr. As you said, I am a new candidate. I will be running, definitely, God sparing our lives, on the URSM. I decided to run on the URSM basically because I believe in the leader's position, in how he wants to move forward with the country of St. Martin. And we had discussions with 1 or 2 other parties, and after weighing, with your family and everything, I decided to run on the URSM.
All right. Mr. Francisco.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Francisco La Cruz. I'm not such a newbie like Andrew claimed me to be. This will be the 2nd time I'm running on the same party, the United People's Party. I have worked extremely hard to get to where we are right now. What caused me to want to be part of this new UP party is the fact that it is an inclusive party. Decisions are made on a broad base, and the direction of the party is not by one person. It is a group, a team of people together that decide which direction the party wants to go. And that makes me feel extremely happy, because then I know that my input is extremely appreciated in the whole process. That's what caused me to want to first join and still stay on the United People's Party as a candidate.
All right. Now, as far as, a person's throwing in their hat in the whole political field, we've always seen that persons are a little bit scared when it comes to that. They feel like, oh, no, boy, they ain't ready for it because of the different drama that comes with it. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's not easy to be a politician in this country. But, you have some brave ones that still end up, trying. What do you say, or what is how can parties clean up the image when it comes to, representing your country at the highest body?
Andrew, it is, and I tell everyone, I say, if I knew before getting into the political realm what actually, what happens, right? I might have not done it, okay? But I'm here, and that means that I am going full force. I tell everyone, have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, because people will come at you with all kinds of things. You will get all kinds of offers. People will try to, pull you into directions that you don't want to go. But at the end of the day, if your heart is in the right place, which is to serve your country, then you will be okay. And I think it is an honor and to be able to do so, So I will not discourage anyone. I actually get extremely upset when I hear someone say, hey, this and this ain't good, this and this ain't good, this and this ain't good. I don't want to hear that. Okay, you highlighted what isn't good, but come and tell me how you think we can fix it.
Solution.
Take a step further and be part of the solution to get things done. Sitting on the side, watching, complaining, that is not who I am. That is not who anyone on the up party is. We are doers. We are going to work long days, long hours to bring this country to where we expect it to be. And that's all the way up.
All right, Mr.
Andrew, I believe in nobody is perfect, that's one. But I believe you have to be an example for your people. That's one. I definitely believe that. Secondly, me personally, I've been through a lot of personal struggles, which you don't have to go into. But I do not want any other individual of this country go through that. And I realize there's a lot of different politicians coming up, even some new ones. When I say new ones, it pass on, like the bad habit had passed on to the new ones. When I say bad habit, they come, for example, on your show, not my good friend here, but in general, they say certain things, and in reality, it's not like that. It's a total different story. I've been through it, I've seen it, and I felt it. Going to various ministries, I do business on the island, as you know. And you sit down and talk to a person that was campaigning, for example, and when you sit down in front of the person after they get elected, is a whole different person is sitting down in front of you. And me, I'm 35 years old age. My age is 35 years old, and I went to school in Curacao. I did my studies at my university. I came to St. Martin and I worked hard. I came 2015, so I built myself. I built my business. And I truly believe that if somebody is going into government, there's certain basics you need to know. You need to know how to build a business, what is a business about. That is something you definitely need to know, because your stakeholders, people that you're dealing with is business people. Those are people, especially, for example, a TIA department. If you don't know business, how are you going to go in that department and run that department? If you don't know land, how are you going to go in Vromi and run Vromi? You understand? If you don't know health, how are you going to go into health and deal with health? It can't work.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, is a reason why we have a democracy, and anybody is eligible to actually take office or go into parliament, whether they have qualifications or not. So that means we should change that system.
No. Of course, everybody have the right to postulate themselves. But when you do it, Andrew, I believe there's certain knowledge you need to know about before you enter the ring. And when I came, as you know, my father was in politics, but I didn't jump in the ring. I took my time, and I went through by doing business. While you're doing business, you experience a lot, Andrew. Trust me. And in St. Martin, not only me, there's a lot of how do you say, vindictiveness going on in St. Martin. You know, if you come from a family, if you come from this family, and you know what's so remarkable? I met a tourist, and he come from the U.S. and he said, how are you doing? You know, me and him started to talk, and then he asked me what I'm doing, etc. And he told me, but why does so much politics play in St. Martin? So I was like, whoa, how do you know that? You know, he been talking to different business people and different owners, and they explained that it's horrible with the politics back and forth. And that is why, Andrew, I want to, not only me, but the party URSM, we want to introduce a new way of running the country. You know, staying closer to the people and dealing with the people that what is deserved.
So those who are there now are not doing it. That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the improvement of the country right now. There's different things, topics. Maybe a little bit after I can go on.
Yeah.
That stuff. I believe that. Why hasn't it changed? Why hasn't nobody did anything for so long in St. Martin? There's a lot of stuff standing watching us, and hasn't been addressed.
Mr. Lacus, you wanted to chime in?
You know, I must agree somewhat with Mr. Rolox when he speaks of knowledge. Okay, I myself, I came from the business world, so going into TIAT was really easy for me because I knew exactly, you know, what you would need to do to put a business together. I had knowledge of, you know, the whole TIAT. TIAT is not only business, by the way. It's tourism, economic affairs, aviation, transport, telecommunication, all falls under one ministry, which is TIAT. I do agree with Mr. Rolox when he says that we should place people in positions that have that type of knowledge that could run a ministry. Okay, but unfortunately, our elections are not elections for ministries. Our elections are based on parliament, which will mean that a party now will have to look on that list and see who is the best person to put into that position to be able to do the job. You know, a little story, I met Mr. Rolox a few years ago, one or 2 years ago, when he was having his own struggles when it comes to opening his own business. And he will attest to that I went way and beyond my scope of work, okay, by taking a drive down the lane, taking pictures of other businesses that were there when his business license was actually being denied, you know, and eventually I put them next to each other and had a discussion with my minister then, and we were able to grant him his business license. Going back to what he mentioned when he said politics being played, right? There's not one person here on St. Martin that could say they have ever called me, and it doesn't matter which party, which political party or who they represent or who they back, that I have not helped while being in the position I am in TIAT. Because from the point I got into TIAT, my position is work. I have no working hours. I have no working schedule. I do the work. And it doesn't matter for who the work needs to be done. So that is something that you will definitely not encounter coming in contact with me in no way whatsoever. You know, so we need to, even though Mr. Rolox didn't, you know, point, from the point that he said TIAT, I was like, okay, let's have that discussion. You know, because I am not that person. You know, never ever. No politics are ever being played in TIAT under my watch, you know, as the chief of staff now of the Minister Lambrix.
Yes.
You know, Andrew, coming back on his remarks, it's indeed the gentleman does his efforts for the country as in the cabinet. But I was having a discussion with him also, and I told him, I said, why do we have a COM? A COM is a council of ministers. How do you say, the working together is not there, Andrew.
Yeah, the cohesion.
It's not there.
Yeah.
Now, if you are in the Department of Theat, right? If you give a license for a gentleman to sell food or whatever it is, sell T-shirts, there's a spot there that was given by the minister of for example, Romy. You guys should, before that license come out, you guys should have sit together and have a discussion, you know. But it seems to me as if the departments are running on an island. So we're in one building, but everybody is on the island. And we have to work together, Andrew. We have to work together. And on the other hand, Andrew, when I say, I give an example of business, right? But when someone comes in front of you, Andrew, you need to have empathy. You need to try to relate to that person. You understand where I'm coming from? I'll just give an example of me. I have never seen poverty, right? But I have family members that have seen it. I have seen it on the island. My father was basically came from a poor family, and he explained you everything. But when you're young, you don't really understand. But when you grow up, and when you go in the neighborhoods, especially right now, I think he can also talk about that because he also was on the campaign trail.
Yes.
So, but now that I'm campaigning, Andrew, you know, when I sit down and somebody, if I'm a minister, I'm in a position of power where I can change someone's life, right? We have ministers that just sit down and say, well, I can't do nothing for you, but I not even sit down and have a discussion and see. Andrew, of course, we can't do everything, but we have to reach the middle ground. We have to understand and try to.
Yeah, but at what point do we stop relying on government? At what point do we stop saying, okay, government has to do everything for us? Because, like you said, you went through the trenches. You also was determined to make sure that your business gets off the ground, and I'm sure that you did it on your own, as much as.
Yeah, but you know, Andrew, I did it on my own, but remember, the background that I have is not everybody have the same background.
Okay.
You understand? You need to have a certain backbone to go through the struggle.
Yeah.
Andrew, I've been waiting I've been waiting for permits for 3-4 years, brother. You know what Andrew, I know people that left St. Martin because they're tired of the politics. They ask for a permit. They take 2-3 years. When they call, there's always a story. How are we going to address the people now? How long is this going to continue going on? The government building has to be a place where people feel loved. People don't like to go there no more, Andrew, because when they go, they have to stand up in lines. They have to hear a story from a minister. It's remarkable.
I like what Mr. Rolex just said. Again, he started by saying he doesn't know poverty personally. Okay, that is good. Okay, because that means that his parents were able at that time to be able to give him the life that that he had. Vice versa. Okay, I know what is hunger. I know what is hunger. I know what it is like to go to school, right, with nothing to eat. Or sit waiting till Missy Lane comes in St. Joseph's School for the free bread and the milk, and sometimes that might have also been the only thing that you got, other to a fried egg with some French bread. So I know what it's like, and I think that helps me realize and be able to relate to people that are in that type of situation even better. I think sometimes, like you said, we expect a lot from government, and that is the one thing that kind of irritates me the most. The fact
dependency.
That, not even the dependency, the fact that people believe that I am entitled to, the sense of entitlement, okay? You are entitled to nothing. Work, get up, you get what you put in is what you get out. If you get up in the morning every day and you decide I'm going to work, listen, my mother's from the Dominican Republic, okay? I was also born in Santo Domingo. And at the age of about 12 years old, I think about 10 years, I visited Santo Domingo. And while I was there, I was in a bus and I heard a little fellow, must have been 6, 7 years. And he was screaming something and I couldn't understand what he was saying until he came closer. What he was screaming is, Agüita, agüita, agüita peso, agüita peso. And I turned around and I asked an uncle of mine, what is that? And he says, he's selling water in little plastic bags. And at that point, I realized poverty is a choice. If you don't want to get up and work, move, get up. Tell me you don't have, right? But I want to see you every day trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but some people fall in hard times.
No, a hard time is something different. A hard time, right, is everyone has been in a dip. I've been in a dip. I've been in a dip where I ended up in a situation where I got extremely depressed. I got accused of something that that was totally off, that was incorrect. I went into a stage of depression at that time. Yourself, Andrew, we've all been there. We know it exactly what it is. So what happens then at that point, when you come in contact with someone that is in that position, you know how to deal with them because you know how you would have wanted someone to deal with you. Understand? But let's go back to government. You can't expect the minister with no monies, okay? Because our coffers are actually, they're dry. And this is what bothers me also with a lot of members in parliament. They have all grand ideas, okay? Why you don't give this relief? Why you don't do that? What I need to hear is how we're going to get the monies to do that, okay? When you turn around and you give him a relief, guess who's going to pay it? When you turn around and you say, yes, raise the pension, okay? All nice. Where's the money going to come from? What are you doing to actually bring laws that are going to encourage our young people to come back after studying and contribute to the coffers of pension, that we could then give our senior citizen a better pension? That's what I want to see in Parliament. I want to see members of Parliament that are actually going to turn around and say, hey, this is a law, okay, that I'm going to bring forth that is going to encourage that young man that left to come back to contribute. Then you could say, hey, okay, let's bring this up. There's so much ways, Andrew. There's so much ways. All my plans and everything I've ever looked at, Andrew, has always been, right, a round plan. From A to Z. A to Z. I have a friend. Do you know what he calls me? The Alpha and the Omega. Do you know why he calls me that? Because every plan I've put together, if I'm going to ask you how we're going to do this, then I know exactly where the money is going to come from for us to get it done.
Yes.
Andrew, I have much respect for my brother here. I agree with him at a certain extent.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
So, he's here, but I reach here with him. I'm going to tell you why. Andrew, we represent our people, and we have individuals that have not chosen to be there. Okay? St. Martin, now, it's very difficult to get a house. It's very difficult to get a mortgage. We have people looking for homes down in Belvedere, apply for homes, 16, 15, 20 years, and you see homes open and they cannot get a house, right? When they go there, arrogance, people don't want to talk to them, they don't want to deal with them, okay? Secondly, he talked about there's no money in the coffers. With all due respect to him sitting down here. Andrew, me as opposition, when I say opposition outside here, I don't want to hear that. I elect you to office. If you want to go there and tell me they ain't got no money, we put anybody there too, and they're going to tell me the same thing. Why elect you for you to tell me you ain't got no money to do nothing for me? Andrew, we have ways and means, creativeness, how to do things, okay? Andrew, just be creative in certain things. How much casinos we have on St. Martin right now?
Too much.
How much more is coming right now?
2 more.
Okay. How much schools have we constructed in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How much? But we move in the casino license, no problem. But let me move the schools also. But before we move the schools, you know what we're going to hear? We don't have no money, Andrew. How we don't have no money to fix the schools? There's a lot of creativeness you can do. We just talk about the boots. We got 1 million boots on the island.
360.
Okay, but I got to really count them now, Andrew, because I was surprised when I saw that number. Right? Mm-hmm. We have 360 boots. I'm giving you an example, right? That means When they keep popping up, that means it's lucrative, right or wrong? A business is not going to open if it's not lucrative, okay? I read Minister Lambrix, he's going to regulate them or whatever. But if we put a fee, just an example I'm saying, we put a fee on them, we take an example, what are we going to do with that fee? Right? Andrew, we are paying right now, everybody in line out to pay road tax. Why are we paying road tax? You know what happening to the road tax? They're taking the money from the road tax, put it in the budget for them to balance the budget. So what happened to the roads? How the roads gonna get fixed?
Interesting discussion. Of course, I'm sure Mr. La Cruz has a rebuttal, but wait. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, you answer Mr. Rolex. The great debate. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the great debate. Of course, we continue our discussion with Mr. Rolex from the URSM and Mr. Francisco La Cruz from the United People's Party. Just before, Mr. Rolex made some good statements. Your response?
One of our biggest challenges here in St. Martin is customer service. Okay. I do agree with Mr. Rolex when he says that. Okay. And I know that there are plans. I know that we have done things. Government has done things, to improve customer service on the island. Every business, I think, should look into that on their own, because that will generate more business for them. When I say a government has no money, okay, go back and listen, and you'll hear that I said, every plan I put together comes with an idea on how to generate that money. So I must agree with Mr. Rolex again, yes, you should vote for me. Okay, because I will come with that plan. I have a couple here too, of couple plans that will generate monies to the coffers. Mr. Rolex also mentioned, you pay road tax and it goes into the coffers. That's the system that we live in. I know in Aruba, for example, they allocate monies that come from any type of tax. They would say, okay, you know what? Part of this goes directly into this ministry for this purpose. And actually, we were having a conversation this morning, Minister Lambrix, myself, and the legal, concerning even that, looking into, the possibilities of, how would that look? And is that actually possible to get those things done here on the island? Because then it will mean, it gives you a whole different perspective.
How's it different from when the budget is approved, a certain amount is given to the different ministries, and then the ministries have to execute?
All the monies that come into the coffers of government are all thrown in one pot. Then it's decided upon which ministry gets what and for what it gets it. That's how it happens. Okay, but let me give you a small example. Let's say, for example, Mr. Rolex also spoke about housing. Okay, my last election was rent too damn high. And I think a lot of people didn't understand, how that works or what actually happens, when you make a statement like that. But when COVID hit and people realized that they are at home producing a lot less than they did before, but their landlord was still knocking on their door, then they understood. I got hundreds of messages. Mr. La Cruz, now I understand what you meant. What you meant when you said rent too damn high. Okay? Again, my idea with that was nothing out of the way, nothing new. It exists in different places. It exists. Huge subsidy. Renting subsidies exists. It exists in Curacao. It exists in Aruba. It exists in Holland. So it's just take the model and pass it on. Cambialo un poco. So that it works here. And again, where the monies are going to come from, it's also there in the plan. I have a couple things that I've been working on while sitting in the ministry, because I've encountered a lot of bottlenecks that I think, okay, we would have been a lot further if this law was amended, or if this would be fixed, or if we had this law in place. And I think that's the job of your members of parliament, okay? And not only the members of parliament of my faction, but all members of parliament. Before you sit and you complain, you know what I want to do? I want to hear you say, right, Mr. La Cruz, how can I help you solve this problem? You know, so I have a lot of things that we've been working on with our members of parliament to get things moving, okay? I have some animal laws that are going to be introduced that I'm working on personally with a legislative lawyer to present to parliament. I am an animal lover, okay? I have 7 dogs. And I love my dogs as much as I love my kids, okay? So animal protection laws, working on the rent laws on St. Martin, because those are also extremely outdated on the island.
Okay, we're going to hear a little bit about that in a few. Mr. Rolex, as a business owner, I'm sure that you can attest also to what Mr. La Cruz said as far as the rent being too high. But I always look at a different coin of it, which is how can government regulate this? How do you tell someone who struggled to build a building, get an apartment, have a long time mortgage, have bills from year to year, and then afterwards, they tell you, okay, you can keep it up to this amount, or you have to make sure that the rent is not too high, so that anybody can just come and rent it.
Andrew, before I continue on the rent too high, I would like to say, Andrew, that the first thing is I would want to promote the people of St. Martin not to rent. We try to own, Andrew. So I don't really want to entertain renting because I want the people to own. I want them to own the house, okay? And they to rent to somebody, especially the people from St. Martin, people from this country, Andrew, we got to start with seeing the bottlenecks, showing our people how to approach a mortgage. That's one of the most important things. We got to, look, I'm just going to give you a very small example. Small things where we can change. If we have police officers, Andrew, that don't own their home, when the police officer come by you and they explain you these things, you're like, wow. Maybe they're married to somebody who works in an insurance company and they can't qualify, right? That is why the up party, with all due respect to my brother here, had promised the people then before rent to own homes. Up to now, we can't see it. And they're going for a full term. And even though the government fall, they was in different governments, Andrew. That is why we want to ask the people of St. Martin to give us the opportunity to carry this country in a different direction. Because, listen.
And how would you guys do that? How would the USF do that?
Well, Andrew, first thing, once we get in, Andrew, these are the stuff we have to address. Rent to own, one of the first things we have to address. I know people stand up in line trying to own a house or trying to get a house, right? Down Belvedere, wherever they can get a house to live in, Andrew, there's very simple, for example, he said that money in the coffers, for example. There's small little things, Andrew, that we can change. I'm going to give a good example, something that I want a change in this country. We have pharmacies, right? Mm-hmm. We have to have pharmacies on call, Andrew. Have to, because we're going to take off the burden of the emergency room. Maybe he home, he have little kids. Maybe they have a little fever. Maybe 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, you could run out to a pharmacy, pick up a little medicine or something for your little boy. You gotta run to the emergency room. We have a country, we are a developed country, and when you get up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you can't get the pharmacy open. It's a very simple way, Andrew. All you gotta do, they make a schedule. Every week, you're gonna have one 24-hour pharmacy, right? How much money we need to do that? You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. Another one, very simple again, where I champion, prepaid electricity. Why St. Martin hasn't introduced that up to yet?
Yeah.
GB is in a turmoil right now. We made 1 year with a hack. 1 full year with this government now in place, right? When you get the GB workers, you have to ask them yourself, because you're a reporter, Why you think GB get like this? Why you think GB is in this issue? You know what they're gonna tell you? Politics. Not me. No.
Yeah.
You ask them. GB was going good. But when you pull, take this, take that one, move this one, put friend, put family, what happens? And everybody sees it. And these are things that is not hidden. Everybody is seeing them.
Yeah.
And nobody says nothing. GB still in the turmoil. You know when the government going to start to take it serious?
Yeah.
When GB say, we got to start to get rid of some people. That's when government going to say, boy, let me see what we're going to do now. Because I'm not seeing the emergency. I'm not seeing the urgency in this, Andrew.
Yeah.
And GB is going down, my brother. GB is going down.
And then also address the rent also. You didn't address it.
No, the rent, I don't want to address it because I want my people to own homes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wallace.
The only way, there's two phases. Number one is we need to move into the direction of eventually having a national bank of St. Martin. Okay? You have foreign banks coming into the country, and they are still the ones that decide how they do business here. Okay, we have a member of parliament, MP Bryson, that has now brought different legislation to parliament to move that into the right direction. You know, the right to actually have a bank account in a specific amount of time. Okay, so that is one. But we as a country, we need to move into that direction to eventually have our own banks. Okay, when you have your own bank, then you could talk about, you know what, hey, listen, we want you to give our people mortgages. And the risk, that's the collateral, the house. That's the collateral, okay? When I speak of rent, it is a phase. The idea has always been, or my idea has always been, that you should not pay more than 60% of your salary in rent. The same way you would if you have a mortgage. When you request a mortgage, the bank says, okay, you know what, your salary is 1,000. When I calculate how much you're asking for, maximum that your mortgage could be would be 60%. Okay, if I could show 3 years long that I've been paying rent, 60% of my salary, that means I could pay that same 60% into a mortgage.
Okay.
Okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? Whenever, the only business that you're allowed to have on St. Martin without a business license is what?
Educate me.
Rent.
That does it for our decor for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until Monday, stay good. Behave yourself because you never know. Judge Dick is watching. Pause.